This is not a job for women. If you're a wuss, do not take this on. It will defeat you, okay? You've got to attack this thing, like this project, you've got to tackle it like a warrior. Because mentally, you're looking at it and you're challenging all these old ideas and things. I'll give you another example. So a few years ago, I was in Sydney, Australia, and Jessica and I we were at an event. We were backstage talking to Bob Proctor. Anybody know Bob Proctor? Yeah, great author. And Bob told this great story. His wife's from Pensacola, and Bob is from Ontario. And those of you who don't know Bob, he's sort of the heir apparent in personal development. He's sort of a modern day Napoleon Hill. You know, just brilliant guy. And I think he's in his 70s. Real tall guy, very distinguished looking, always wears a cream-colored double-breasted suit. I worry about that. I think he's bound to be able to afford something better. You know, like more than one color, at least. I see him in that picture. I'm always a little worried. I'm gonna buy him a suit. But he's backstage and he's telling this story. He said him and his wife were in a grocery store one day, and they were walking through the vegetable section, and they saw some turnips. Everybody know what turnips are? Yes? All right. So, now this is what's interesting. He says, oh, we should get some turnips. I haven't had turnips in a long time. And his wife says, what are you going to do with this? He said, I'm going to eat them. And she said, you're going to eat what? And he said, well, you cut the green off and you dice it up and you get it in cubes and you put it in the pan and you eat it. And she said, that's not the turnip. That's the root of the turnip. And he said, what? She said, you cut the greens off, you throw the root away, and you chop up the turnips, the greens, and you boil that, and you eat the greens. He said, my God, we give that to the hogs. So, and he's telling me and Jessica the story, and he's like, I wonder how far back I would have to go on my side of the family to find who decided that the root, the whitish, purplish part of the plant is what you eat. And I wonder how far back we'd have to go on my wife's side of the family to find who's the first person who said, well, you're supposed to eat the greens. There's another really cute story. I'll keep this one short, but there's a story about how a man walked in the kitchen one Thanksgiving, and his wife was making a ham, and she cut the ends of the ham off before she put it in the pan. And he said, why do you do that? And she said, I'm not really sure. I think it's something to do with moisture or evenness of temperature. I'm not sure. That's how my mom done it. Well, when Mom shows up for Thanksgiving, they decide to ask her. They said, Mom, why do you cut the ends off the ham when you cook a ham for Thanksgiving? And she said, I'm not sure. She said, my mother told me to do it that way. And I've always cut them off because I assume it has something to do with the browning and it keeps the meat, But when Grandma gets here, we can ask her. So Grandma shows up and they ask her, and she says, I have a small pan.